217 miles long and 18 miles wide at its widest point, and a mile high or a mile deep, depending on which way you look at it, because that is the Grand Canyon in Nevada. This is Cagiva's Grand Canyon, just as it says there, and we're in sunny Staffordshire. And it's a good job it's sunny, because I was expecting rain today. But nevertheless, if you're into big trailers, this is a hell of an impressive bike. But looks can be deceptive. Honda's Varadero and Triumph's Tiger look similar in style, but are really big trail bikes, equally at home as long-distance tourers. But the Grand Canyon is more supermoto than super traily, and that's what makes it different. But having said that, take to the trail, and it's well up for it. And much of it is down to this, the Ducati 900cc air-cooled motor. It's from the Ducati 900SS, but unlike that which has got carbs, this has actually been fuel injected. Not only that, it's been remapped and retuned to give lots of low-down power and much more torque. But after all, it is a trail bike. So look what it's got here, a bash plate. It's actually made of plastic. It's pretty tough, but I mean, it's got to look the part, hasn't it? And when you think of it, it's just like Range Rovers, etc., having those big bull bars on the front just in case they run into the odd cow in Sainsbury's car park. Anyway, that's all besides the point. But there is a bit more plastic here. This is covering up this tubular steel frame, housing the whole engine. Behind that, you can see the exhaust system, very neat twin exhaust tucked well behind the frame out of harm's way. Behind that is the single rear monoshock with a real hefty linkage underneath, and the shock is fully adjustable for compression and rebound damping, which is unlike the front forks, which aren't adjustable at all. But that doesn't seem to matter. These bikes really are the biker's version of the four-wheel drive urban Jeep thingy. Yes, they'll tackle the rough stuff, but they're really meant for tarmac territory. The motor, though, is absolutely brilliant. Even though 63 brake horse might not sound very much these days, it delivers it with a real punch and makes all the right noises, just like those cockerels you can hear in the background. Really pulling hard between 5 and 7 grand and kept on the boil with a 6-speed gearbox that's all sweetness and light, you can really have some fun. Well, something else that really helps in the fun department is the riding position. Now, the seat height is fairly high at 825mm, but it is 25mm less than a Varadero or a Tiger. So if you're a bit compromised, no real problem. When you're sitting on it, you sit on it more like you do a motocrosser. You're well forward up against the tank there, and you could almost imagine sticking your foot out and getting around a corner in that way, just like the dirt trackers do. If you look at the bars, they're just slightly downturned at the sides here, so not up like a big motocrosser at all or a trials bike, just a slight downturn. And that brings us up to this pretty neat little fairing here, little twin headlight fairing, housing all the necessary instruments in there. Nothing fantastic about there, but you've got everything you want, including a clock. Now, the mirrors are really excellent. You get a good clear view over your shoulders, no problems there at all. The levers up here, they're both fully adjustable, the brake and the clutch. But while talking of the clutch, it really has got a heavy throw on it. It's hydraulic, but it does feel heavy. But it's a good job I'm a roughy-tufty bloke, and I haven't got a problem with that. Up front is the big 19-inch wheel shared with all bikes of this type, along with twin 295mm discs. It's also got very trick twinned filler caps, because the tank is actually in 2 halves, and even though they're connected by a small pipe, you wouldn't be able to fill it fast enough with a single filler. Back out on the road, this really does come together as a fun bike. The roads are a bit damp for the dual-purpose tyres, but you can chuck it into bends and really gun it out. Bumps and potholes are soaked up with ease, and it's good around town too. It's tractable and the riding position puts you well in command, especially as it's 30 kilos lighter than a Varadero and 25 less than a Tiger. On the off-road stuff, it felt better than the road bike would, but for me, it really is a chuckable road bike. A monster, but with even more attitude. I'll tell you what, you can forget your trails, because for me, this stuff is fantastic for this bike. The Grand Canyon just swallows them up and you can really have some fun. And I'll tell you something else, you don't have to do 110 or whatever. Within the speed limit, 60 miles an hour, this is all fun. And on this twisty stuff, it's fantastic. I'm going to go and get some more. See you anon. So there we have it. Biking's very own version of the Grand Canyon. And I'll tell you what, for just under 5,600 for this parallel version, I think you've got something pretty grand.